The 375 bus had such a big incident, and the transportation company was to blame. As a state-owned enterprise, it was their duty to cooperate with the Public Security Department's investigation. They reacted quickly, and soon the regional director and the on-duty driver rushed to the police station. The 375 bus was divided into day shift and night shift, but strangely, it was the day shift driver who had the accident that night, while the original night shift driver escaped. Therefore, this driver also became the focus of the police's investigation. When Ma Shuman and I walked into the interrogation room, it had just begun. "What is your relationship with the victim driver?" "Lao Wang and I drive the same car. I drive the night shift and he drives the day shift. I haven't been feeling well these days, so I discussed with him about switching shifts." Who knew? Who knew something like this would happen? Are you more heartbroken now? Or more relieved? If there hadn't been a shift change, you would be the one lying in the morgue now, right? Comrade Public Security, what do you mean? Lao Wang and I have been friends for more than 10 years. How could it be? Don't get excited. I'm just raising my doubts. You've worked together for 13 years, and occasionally switching shifts is fine. It was just one night, but within a month before the crime, you frequently switched shifts with him, and even switched shifts for a whole week. This is very abnormal. According to experience, many crimes happen between acquaintances. Comrade Public Security, I am innocent. I really just have something to do. I heard from your neighbors that you went home to sleep after get off work in the past month and never went out. You changed shifts so many times just to go home to sleep. Tell me, what are you hiding from us? Tell the truth and you can get leniency. I am really scared. 375 lose night shift is too weird, so I asked Lao Wang to take my place. But this matter really has nothing to do with me. What are you afraid of? It's not too late to confess now. In the past few months, I always have nightmares, and they are on night shift. In the dream, I was driving a car, and then a few people in military coats would get on. No, they are not people, they are ghosts. They have no legs, they float up. The face is as white as paper, and then they come to my side and stare at me straight. In the dream, when they were about to get off the bus, they took a knife to cut themselves open and pulled out their intestines. I woke up suddenly and found that I was still driving the night shift. When I asked the conductor, she said that I didn't fall asleep just now. It's just a nightmare. It scared you so much. Comrade, you don't know. This dream is too real. And I woke up later and later in the dream. The first few times, I woke up at Mingguang Bridge, and in the later dreams, they were at Zuezi Bridge, Langking. Later and later, we were about to reach the terminal station, Hanjiachuan. What if we reached the terminal station? Would they stay on the train forever? Would they drag me to accompany them? I was scared. And since I started having nightmares, my complexion became worse and worse, and I became more and more confused. I asked an old Chinese doctor to see me, and he said that I was lacking in yang qi. Isn't this weird? So you switched shifts with Lao Wang. At first, I just wanted to switch shifts for a few days to rest, but then I found that Lao Wang seemed fine, so I plucked up the courage to go back to the night shift. But within a few days, I had that dream again. I was even more afraid to work the night shift, so I simply switched shifts for a week. I didn't hide it either. I went to use my connections in the last week to transfer to another department. Who would have thought that something would really happen? I personally have reservations about your story. You are highly suspected. Please feel free to assist in the investigation in the near future. Comrade Public Security, I am innocent. I am wronged. For slipping into the corridor again, I started to wonder again. What the driver said doesn't sound like a lie. Is it really so weird? Ma Shuman also came out, leaning against the wall and smoking one cigarette after another, making the whole corridor look like a fairyland. This calm old policeman must have lost his ease now. Yes, the driver's words disrupted the case that was originally traceable. The 3 military coats, which were the most critical clues, actually appeared in the driver's dream. Could it be that the evil spirit in the driver's nightmare caught up with the reality and mistakenly killed the scapegoat who was changing shifts? Seeing the tightly frowned brows of Lao Ma, I held back the doubts in my heart. I knew that as a reporter, I should not interfere with the judgment of the police at this time. Perhaps waiting is my best choice. In the evening, the young policeman who led the way to interrogate the driver took me to the guest house next to the Public Security Bureau. I understand that although I am a friend of Lao Ma and can sit in as a reporter, in order to avoid leaking the case, I cannot leave the site of the police before the investigation is over. I had a dream at night. I dreamed that I was sitting on a shabby bus, moving slowly in the dark night. There were no other passengers in the bus, and the driver did not speak, just driving silently. When we arrived at the station, the bus stopped, and 3 people wrapped in military coats got on, accidentally revealing the hem of the coat. They had no feet. I woke up suddenly. It was already dawn outside the window. I simply got up, washed up, and went to the Public Security Bureau to continue to sit in on today's interrogation. But today's content is much more normal. The wife of the murdered driver, other employees of the transportation company, Zhu Zhengming's teachers and classmates, regular passengers of bus No. 375. After a whole day of intensive investigation, no suspicious points were found. The only sad thing was that the deceased conductor was a lonely man. His parents had passed away long ago. He had never found a partner, and there was no one to collect his body after the accident. I wanted to find Ma Shuman to ask him a few more questions, but looking around, there was no trace of Lao Ma in the small inquiry room. When did he go out? I also quietly walked out of the door and saw Lao Ma talking to the young policeman in the corner of the corridor. His face was full of anxiety and anger, but he was trying hard not to shout. "Shen Siking, say it again." Ma Shuman's loud voice was suppressed. "What do you mean by not found?" I quickly pricked up my ears, and thanks to years of undercover investigations, I heard some of the policeman's words intermittently. "It's just, I can't find it. The neighborhood committee said there's no such person. I haven't heard of anyone reporting a missing relative recently." The policeman named Shen Siking looked at his boss's red face, and was so scared that he was a little timid. Ma Shuman was anxious all of a sudden, and he didn't even bother to suppress his voice. Impossible. Such an old lady must take a fixed route on weekdays. How could a large family of friends and children fall from the sky? Shen Siking was scolded so hard that he couldn't raise his head, his face full of bitterness. "But there really is no one, and I didn't hide the person, and, Ma Dui, there's another thing.